Alright guys, welcome to RC Mojo. This week we're going to finish up the Tamiya Wildone Blockhead and give it a quick test run. First up we have the side nets to make sure the driver doesn't fall out. We've already cut them out during the build, so all that's left to do is to attach them. In step 40, Tamiya want us to use the included zip ties. I think they're probably a bit bulky, but we'll give it a go anyway. While we're at it, we're also going to attach some antenna tube to get the antenna up out of the chassis. There's another useful picture on the front cover of the manual. There's a top-down view with the bodywork removed, so we can see where the builder put all the zip ties. Right, first we need to remove the upper body so we've got full access to the sides, which also means we need to unplug the upper lights. While we're up at the front, we can also fish out the antenna so we can run it up the antenna tube when we get to it. Next, we need to remove the roof. At the rear there's two M3 screws and nuts that we need to loosen, and at the front there's two self-tappers. Remove them and we can flex the roof and pop it out. Now I think we should be able to fit the nets on the inside of the cage, tucking the bottom between the chassis and the driver. There's a bit of a step towards the back, so I'm going to trim a few squares off the bottom corner so the net can sit nice and straight. Then we can add some zip ties. We need to keep in mind which way they go, so when the roof's on we can hide the bulky bit. Same goes with the front ones, except we want to position them just so they look nice and tidy. I'm also going to fit a zip tie towards the back low down, and hopefully if the net gets hit it will stop them pulling out from between the chassis and the driver. When all the zip ties are loosely fitted, we can pull them tight and snip off the ends. Having said that, we don't want to do them too tight, as we could overdo it and possibly cut the nets. We only want them just tight enough that they don't flop around. Same goes on the other side, except when we get to the front two we also want to run a bit of antenna tube along the cage. We should be able to slide in the antenna, then spin the zip ties so it's mostly hidden. Now we can refit the roof and the top body, remembering to plug the lights back in, and we've got a complete Wildone. I think it's a rather nice looking piece of kit. Okay, next is the battery. Now I was planning on doing something funky, as in the manual Tamiya run the battery lead out of the side and back in under one of the side nets, which needless to say would be a bit of an eyesore. I started designing some bits to fit a 2200 mAh LiPo, but when I started measuring I had a bit of a facepalm moment. You see, at the front of the battery bay is an extra recess that just so happens to perfectly fit a Tamiya connector. I don't know why I hadn't noticed, and why it didn't occur to me to just try a standard 9mm pack. When I did, I found you can quite easily run the wires around the end of the pack and stow the connector in the recess. So with the battery connector on, it's really not going anywhere. So that's the Wildone ready to run. It's still a bit damp and muddy outside, and I don't really want to get it caked in grass and mud, so we're just going to have a quick run around a car park. And I have to say, the Wildone runs rather nicely. The gearbox is nice and smooth, the steering is fairly sharp, even when the non-glued front tyres pop off the wheel, it still works surprisingly well. It could do with a ball diff though. Turning in without power leads to oversteer and the back hanging out, and with power the inside wheel spins up, again somehow leading to oversteer. I think on grass, where there's a bit more grip, it would be far better, but on slippery tarmac it is a bit of a handful. I think what we'll do is save the buggy for summer, when the country dries out a bit, and give it a bit more of a bash. Hopefully we can finish the sand scorcher by then as well, and have a bit of a double test. I'll leave you with a bit more of the test run so you can hear the buggy without me talking over it. Nothing too exciting, but nice for completeness. Until next time then, thanks for watching, like if you like, subscribe if you haven't, and leave a comment if there's something on your mind. Bye guys! Too close.